Okay, today's video is about we don't have any AC. Has a pretty nasty leak from the rear somewhere, maybe in this vicinity towards the back. I used about a half a can of this, and until the compressor came on, it kicked on, and it would start getting cold, and I can hear it seeping out somewhere. So I disconnected this, and I hear it coming from the back somewhere. So we're gonna use a little dye today. There's no sense in me running vacuum. You can hear the leak. It's obvious. We will pull a vacuum when we recharge it, when I replace, hopefully, something minor. I'm quite sure it's one of them real hoses because it's a common problem with these trucks. Okay, so obviously they had issues with the AC system. They can even put back the Schrader valve caps, these valve caps. They didn't even put these caps back on for the high port or the low port. So all we're gonna do is hook up the low port side. We don't need to run vacuum right now. Make sure these are shut off clockwise for tightening, and make sure both of these are closed. Well, make sure this is closed counterclockwise for closed. So these are closed though. All we need is the blue one right now until we find out our problem. Another thing also, you want to just make sure these connections are hand tightened. These have these ridges to grip, just so you can hand tighten it, as well as here, just hand tighten. These have special seals inside these fittings, so once you hand tighten them, they'll seal perfectly. And so we only right now just gonna put some dye into the system to see where our leak is. You wanna make sure, so you wanna pull this back. So there's nothing in the line, so you don't have to worry about nothing. In my case, you don't have to worry about nothing spewing out because there's nothing in the line. No pressure on the system whatsoever. So that's connected. We're gonna leave it's in the closed position. We can actually open this up now. Let's open this up. We're gonna pour some dye into the line, and then we're gonna use this pretty much a full can, but we're just gonna use a little bit just to see. We want the compressor to turn on to suck that dye in to see. This is actually oil and dye. Ain't gonna hurt anything, so we're just gonna use a little bit of it to fill that line up. Add a little bit to our line, and see what we get. Okay, when you're pouring the dye in, it'll stay up. It'll stay up here unless you vent it. You want to crack this. Once you vent it some, it'll allow you to pour it in. Otherwise, it'll stay up to the top because there's air in this line. So now we're gonna crank the vehicle up, turn the AC on. Auto, AC. It's gonna blink until the compressor on because there's nothing in the line. There's no pressure. This light will stay on once the compressor, since there's pressure. I hear something. Here, right in this area. It just stopped hissing. It just stopped. Safety first. So let me get this one out, and we're gonna try to see if we can just get a sneak peek under these lines, and we're gonna see if we got some dye exposed anywhere. I found our problem. We got a low pressure line leak. Look at that. It's spewing right out the side of that low pressure line. Guys, if you own a Tahoe, Suburban, Escalade, the Yukon, if you got a rear AC leak, 9 times out of 10, this is exactly where it's going to be at. That plastic brace pierces that line over time, possibly due to vibration, but it's kind of a bad setup. They should have something over that line, or both of those lines, well, especially the low port line. Something should have been over that line in that area. 9 times out of 10, there will be a pinhole once you remove that line. Low pressure line runs all along the length of this vehicle, this Suburban, all the way to the front. And it runs along here, there, and I'm gonna show you where it comes out. There it is. So it runs along inside of there, around the wheel, and there it is back here to the rear of the vehicle. It has to be about a 16 to 18 foot hose. Let me show you guys where it connects that in the front. Okay guys, my videos, me doing these how-tos, the purpose of these videos is to show every single detail possible. For the novice mechanic can do this, because we are human beings, man. Like, I'm no smarter than the next person. If I did it and you're capable of doing it and can get down here, anybody can do it. I think the importance with us is all we need to know is the how to do it, and the specifics through experience. And I've been working on cars since I was 10 years old, and it's important for me to show every single detail so you guys can save money and do your own job and do your own work. So let me show you guys the whole length of this entire line, what needs to be replaced. You have to replace both of them because the high pressure line actually looks really good. So here's the battery, guys, and right adjacent to the battery, or parallel to the battery, is the low pressure lines. The smallest one is right there. So if we move this plug out of our way, you can get to it. It's a 13 millimeter deep wheel socket. 13 millimeter will take it off easily, and it runs along the side of the frame of the vehicle. Now let's look at let's follow it. Let's follow it to the back. And for references, there's the high pressure line. It's down here. A little bit more difficult spot to get to, but it's super easy still. It's right under that. Let me try to mount the light. There it is, right there. Put my finger back on the 13 millimeter deep wheel socket. This is the high line. It's the thicker, wider line. Got a little something to lay on under here. We got light. So there's the exhaust. Let me come along this side, and there's our lines running up through this cover. There they go, running up to the top. You can see them. It's not those two lines that are the same. There's the one with the rubber boot on it, which is the high line, and the smaller one next to it right there, which is the low pressure line right there. So we're gonna follow them back. Let's get some light here. So that little small skinny line right there, that's the low pressure. The one next to it is the high pressure. They run along the same path inside of here. If we go to the back, they run it towards the bottom. There's the low pressure, high pressure. They run along the bottom in those plastic braces. Low pressure, high pressure. So you can see They run the length of the vehicle all the way to the back. So they run all alongside of here, all up in here, where they come out there, and there's a little small line. Quite sure you can get a small socket in there, so we're gonna lube that down, see if we can get that brace off. But gotta get some lines, gotta get a line. I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna try the junkyard and see, because they just got a Suburban up there. Let's see if we can get away with, you know, it's a gamble, but it's the lines are like $10 at the junkyard, and it will cost me some time, but I'm about saving money. That's what we're about. Okay, we at the scrapyard. The admission fee is $2. Let's get in here and see what they got. So I was looking for a Yukon XL or a Cadillac Escalade. Nothing in here. They did have the 07, 08 Suburban here. The lines look good. They didn't even cut the high pressure line, the low pressure line. Looks good. I may take both. Look at this. This don't make no sense, guys. They dropped the entire frame. Oh, wow. Well, there go my lines. I'm gonna check the rear out too. They look good. So let's start undoing them. Let's look at the back first. Gonna pull this cover off. Let's see how they look back here. Looks good. Let's see where it looks well. Let me get this off, guys. Okay, guys, it don't look bad at all. And this right here. So we're gonna drill these out. Let me try to get it off here easily. These lines don't look bad at all. Okay, got me one of those straighter valve caps. I'll take one off another car here. On the low side, they're pretty much the same. On the Tahoe, there's a few Tahoes out here, so I'll get my caps. Let me take these off, guys. Another good sign, there was some dye in the lines, and I don't see no dye exposed anywhere. I have to remove these coolant lines because the other lines intersect between them. So I gotta get this one last line to go, and I can move them out the way, because this is pretty much dead done back here. This is my only problem. So let me get the other one off. I don't want to break nothing because somebody can use this. So let's take it off. Okay, I have to bend those tabs back and pull it through. It's pretty much done here. Let's start getting the braces from underneath. Let's get some of the layout. Okay, guys, we got the line. It won't come off from there. So I took it off from here. On the high port side. We only need the low port line, but the running board braces has to come off, or the running board itself. So a little labor. Let's see how much these lines cost. It's filled with UV dye. So the lines look really good. So this girl can see what you're gonna charge us for. By the way, today's Sunday, so it's free admission today. So I didn't pay anything so far, besides the little gas. I'm in the truck to get over here. Okay, guys, we got the lines. Looking good. Gotta get them up here. Some pretty long lines, but look how much I paid for them. $19.49. Got a 90-day guarantee. We bring them back and get our money back. I even got the orifice. I don't want them and looked at new. And some gaskets. So, our budget so far is $19.50, and we had in the gas money. It took me it's about 5 miles from my house. So, in the truck, a gallon of gas to get here and get home. Okay, we back. We got 2 good lines: high pressure, low pressure. Although you can find some aluminum low pressure online for as low as like $30-40, but they come in sections. You will not get one shipped with this length in the mail at all. So they'll come in sections. It won't have exact bends at the factory. This is how it should look. That dye pouring out. This is a very, very long line. This trailer, you get the orifice tube. I got the one for the other side. I got both gaskets. I may replace those gaskets, but this trailer is 18 foot long. Look how long these lines are. So we got 2 good lines, a high port and low port for $19, and they got a $3.99. They put a $3.99, got the $3.99 guarantee. So if they're bad, I'll take them back and get my money back. Okay, guys, it's time for us to install that rear AC line. We're in the garage. I know it's gonna get dark on me. It's beautiful outside. We're gonna jack up the passenger side, put some jack stands under there, out of our way. Most likely on the rear end and on the front spindle somewhere. Take both of these wheels off. 22 millimeter for the lugs. Let's get the front wheels off. Then we're gonna get these wheel well covers off. These fender covers off, front and back. And the whole running board got to come off. So since we're on a budget, it's gonna be a little bit more labor. So we gotta take this whole running board off to do it properly. Okay, both wheels are off. Like I said, we gotta take this whole running board off. Not a big deal. It's actually kind of simple. And both of these fender covers, wheel well covers. So let's start to the front first. Since I do got multiple videos with me removing this cover, I'll still add it to this one because I don't have to go back and lick it. But I got videos of me replacing these with OEM AC Delco brake pads, rear brake pads, rear front rotors added to the upgraded rotors, the cross drill rotors, the back cross drill rotors as well. So you guys want to check that video out on the channel. It's a very detailed video of that. But with this, needs a trim tool. Recommend just buying one of these. They're like $7 or $8 on Amazon for a decent one. It's just decent. And you're gonna use a 7mm or 9/32 to get the screws out. We're missing some screws, but guys, this was like this when I bought it. Somebody didn't take really good care of this truck, and I'm bringing it back to life. Like I said, 7mm or 9/32. I'm using 9/32, guys. Just remove them. Missing some, but I'll replace them back. No big deal. We'll put everything here until we start removing this running board. Or we can leave it here. Put everything on the bottom because we're gonna remove that running board. All right, so let's get the trim tool and got this one, that one. One's missing there. We can take this off of here when we drop it some. We can lower it. It's a harness there. Got one there, here, here, here. And like I said, it's very simple to use this tool. My one hand is show you guys how simple it is. So I want to try to put a limit on this recording. All this is straightforward stuff. Just get it under there. You guys have elbow in, so just pull these clips right out, super easy and effortlessly. After less than a minute of me taking this cover off, it takes less than a minute. You Use the trim removal tool, just pull it out, and there it is, it's out. So look at that, right? Everything's in our face. I oiled this earlier, so we're only removing the low pressure line. But if you want to remove the high pressure line, everything's right here. Once you remove this cover, let's get this cover out of our way. Let's move the light out the way first. Everything is right here in your face. Look at that. That's the high pressure line. Right here. So when we move the back, you're going to see how easy it is as well. And they run along this, within this running board. So if you don't have a running board, it makes it even just more simple. It's just those braces there, those plastic braces. And we're filming in 4K, guys. So it's not as bad as you think. All right, let's pull this out. This is pretty much out of our way. And let's go to the back. You know what? Let's lube this up first, because we do have to remove this 10 millimeter. That's a 10 millimeter. So let's get our super lube. Let's get a cardboard on the ground. We want something dropping everywhere. And then we're gonna get to the back. Okay, so I got PP Blaster, WD-40, but this is the best. This stuff is amazing. I got a few cans of it right now. I'm running low. Got a few cans left, but this is it right here. It's what you want to get. So, I mean, it really does the job. You know, freeze all this stuff. So you want to spray it over the braces. Well, we're gonna spray the other braces. I mean, so the lines can pull out easily. Let that sit. And let's go to the back and move the back. But I did this already. You guys can see the remnants on it, so it can just pull apart. Okay, we're in the rear. I already removed one because I took this off to diagnose our problem of these tabs, these push-in tabs, or these threaded tabs that lock in place. We got some 7 millimeter or 9/32 bolts here. We got one here. We got one of these push tabs here, locking tabs here. We got 7 millimeter there. This is aftermarket, so I use some pliers to get that off. We got one here, one right there, one right there. So, and this comes right out. So let's drill this out real quick. I'm using 9/32 once again. Okay, I got to get this out with some pliers and take this out with our trim removal tool. And we're going to pull this out. So let me get that deal right. Okay, let's pull this out of our way. And everything should be exposed. And that's where we're going here. I've already lubed it up really good. So we're going to take it off. That's a 10 millimeter right here. Be careful from these airlines. That's a 10 millimeter. So let's get some lube on that. And there's another 10 millimeter. Don't look like it, but it's one. I'm spraying it really good. And get us a 10 millimeter on the socket. 1/4 inch drive. And we're gonna screw them out. Okay, guys, make sure your system is completely empty before you remove these lines. As we know, my system is pretty much drained out. So that's a 13 millimeter deep well socket. Guys, probably the hardest part of this entire job was me having to constantly lube or spray penetrant on those rear lines to remove those hoses from that expansion valve. Those lines were stuck in that expansion valve, so it was time consuming, but I eventually get it out. You guys will see. You just have to keep prying, spraying, prying back and forth, spraying, because you don't want to damage anything. Okay guys, I had to break these plastic tabs off because look at the bolts. I couldn't get nothing to grip. There's nothing there. Look at this one. So got the long flathead screwdriver, and I'm sure you gotta dig one up between here and just twist it. Popped it out. Super easy. Same way here. Here, twist it, popped it out, and it broke. Okay, so let's get the front now. All the things out of the way. Got this 13mm and a ratchet wrench for the 13. So you're gonna get up here first. I see I've lubed everything already. Let's get this. Okay, as you can see, it started to separate on its own. Let's get this one. It's 10mm. Check the orifices. Let's look at the orifice tube in here. We got some for the other one, so it don't matter. We'll clean this out. Put it back in. We'll clean it out. We got some extra ones though. We're dangling. So now we just got to get underneath the car and let's see what we got. Okay, guys, we're at the front of the vehicle. So we don't have to remove the entire running board because, well, on a lot of these vehicles, they normally be rusted out up front. So even if you remove these 4 braces, the whole thing will fall because they normally be rusted out, but this seems to be okay on the front and the back. So we can actually leave the board up. We can just remove these 4 braces. Consist of 2 13mm screws and a 10mm here. And we can put them right back in place. We already know where they go. They only can sit one way because this tightens up. Let me set this down. Because this tightens up to pull it to the frame. And this mounts up here, so you don't have to mark it or anything. And we want to spray these little clips so they can open right up. So let's spray some of this stuff right now. Just want to spray it in there so they can open right up. I'm going to spray this. Just a little bit there. So we're going to do all of them like that, guys. And then we're going to take the 13mm and drill them out. So each one of these black little braces, just there. And as far as these clips, open right up, that's all. Get a flathead screwdriver. I know if I can get a good flathead screwdriver. Flathead screwdriver. And open right up. Gotta twist it. Gotta twist them out and they pop right open. They come out of this slot here. Same as this one. Just wanna wedge it in there and twist it. I'll take it out of this slot. So we're gonna take all the 10mm out first, guys. Get them out of our way. So we got that one out. We use the impact. We can use the air ratchet on these because the impact with the deep well socket a little bit too long. Unless you got a shorter impact with the deep well socket to get up in there. Or you got a cordless ratchet. You can get up in there as well. Got some decent room, but I got that one out. So we're just gonna get the bottoms out real quick, and then I'm gonna get the air ratchet and get the others out. But this is perfect. save some footage. It's pretty much straightforward. Just some, oh, there's a 13mm there. It was just one. Oh, you can use the regular socket on those. This one has a deep well socket you need for that one. So, and that one has a deep well socket. The two ones on two end. So it's super easy, and we can get these last little clips. So I'll be right back in a second when all this stuff done. Pretty much self-explanatory. Just a straightforward. This is pretty much an easy. So I got the air ratchet on it from this side. So I'll just once I do that one, this one come right off, and the other ones. So super simple. Okay, guys, the board just came off, but I put a bolt in here. Let me show you guys. Just one of the bolts for the bottom, just to keep the running board from coming all the way off. And I just pulled the low line from out the brace, came out super easy. Pretty much hanging on by a limb over there. Let's see what it's hanging on to. That was super quick and easy. Like I said, it's not a bad job at all. So the line is just pretty much holding on here. Done. Let's get the back done. Get the back done. Then we're gonna pop the other line right back up there. Super easy job, guys. So let me get the back line out. I've been wrestling with that. Let's get some light back here. Let me show you guys what I'm wrestling with. Because I don't want to break nothing. Without any lube, it came out the one at the junkyard pretty easy. So I've been lubing it and taking my time with it getting out. The problem is this corrosion around these threads here. That's what's holding it. So I've been working it back and forth, letting the penetrant work, let it sit for a little while. So we're gonna try to get that out of here. And this line can come right out. It's ready to come out right now. Okay guys, it's taking me about 30 minutes after letting some penetrant sit. This penetrant there sit inside of around that expansion valve, and use the crowbar to get inside of there and wedge it down. So I get the crowbar here, twist it until it pop down. But I had to let it sit for a while. This was tough. This was the hardest part of this job so far. Just getting that off of that corroded. Just getting it off the corroded threads. Gotta have. Oh, there we got it. That was tough. You can see it's all kind of chewed up there because I really wanted trying to get it off, guys. This was a pain. That corrosion, it was corroded on those threads really bad. And I had to get it out like that. So we got it. All the penetrant I've sprayed, the low pressure line should come right out off of here with no problem. So let's set the camera up and just put it off. Well, it took a second to do. You kind of just pull it down to here on the line. You can kind of see where it's smaller at, and it slides right out of this slot. So we're gonna clean. Get some light from my eyes. So we're gonna clean inside of there. We're gonna wipe all that off around that washer, the rubber washer. We're gonna clean all around here real good. Pop the other line back on. So this line should come right out of here. Let's mount the camera so we can see. So this way we're leaking at right here. Let's get the other line and pop it up here really fast. Should be super quick. We're gonna check out the washers. This washer look good. clean everything. We got the old orifice tube and the other one. This pulls right out. We're gonna use the other one. I'm gonna show you guys I cleaned it really good. This has some debris in it. So we're gonna use the other one. It's clean. I'm gonna show you guys the other orifice tube. Hey guys, the line from the junkyard, which was looked really good compared to my line. This is my line. The other line looks a lot better, a lot stronger. Look at it all the way to the back. How my line seems to kind of get all dirty and messed up. Well, this line is really good. So here's the new orifice tube. It comes out of this line, the line from the junkyard. I just cleaned it with some braking parts cleaner. You can get this one clean the same way. So we're gonna install this one back. We're gonna install this one back inside of here. Make sure we're free of debris. I'm gonna clean this rubber gasket. My rubber gasket look a little bit better. So I'm gonna use my gasket. It's a plastic. It's a hard plastic, a hard rubber gasket. Mine looks better. So we're gonna wipe this off and clean. So man, I'll probably use mine. Well, I may just clean this one off good, that's all. We know this one wasn't leaking. Oh man, so I'm trying to save some camera space, guys. Just go back up the same way you took it out. The other line, the low pressure line, goes through those coolant lines. Goes through those coolant lines, so we have to take the high pressure line off. We probably can snake it through there without removing those coolant lines, but the high pressure line is good on this. So let's put the low pressure line back on just like it came off. It's super easy and simple. Just gonna go right back up with it and mount everything back up, so we'll be super fast. And like I said, it's going right back up the same way we came down. I don't want to film now. Just film the next step, which will be testing for leaks before we install everything back up. Okay, guys, I want to note before, because I'm about to go back up with everything. I'm trying to cut back on filming time. So we're going to clean this one out through this orifice tube. Just pull it out. It's a longer one than the real one, of course. If you can see the length of this tube. Just clean it with some braking parts cleaner. If I ever zoom in. I don't know what's wrong with my camera lens. I won't zoom in, but you know, I'll clean that washer too. We'll clean that washer. There it is. So let's clean this out, and we'll clean that washer off and make sure we have a good mating surface for those holes, and we should be all good. So let me get everything back up really quickly. Okay, it took me about a few minutes, 3 minutes to get the line back up. What's great about going back with the regular original line, it falls in place effortlessly. Look at this. All I gotta do is put this up here now. I'm gonna clean the washers off. Orifice tube is in place. The expansion valve looks pretty good. Everything's in place. Like the line ran along the bottom perfectly. Look at that. And to the front. There's nothing tightened down, but just went right in place. Right in place. So let me buckle everything up. Literally took me less than 3 minutes. Maybe 2 minutes. So it just falls right in place. Okay, guys. So I locked some vice grips along the back part of this line so I can get some torque on the bolt to tighten it up, to pull in tightly. I'm not sure the torque specs. If I pull them up on my software, I'll flash them up over the screen, but this is not my first time doing this, so I pretty much can kind of get a feel for how tight they need to be. And if I feel if they go to seeping, I'll tighten them down. If that doesn't do it, I'll replace the washer. But I think we're gonna be fine. So I'll just add some vice grips here, like on this fat part, to give me leverage here. I'll have leverage here, and I'll tighten it down with the 13mm. Other than that, everything else is back in place. We're done. Let me show you guys the back. Everything is back in place. I put a lock washer on that bolt just in case I bent it too far out. That'll help it tighten up some. Before I add those braces back to that running board and put everything back together, we're gonna do a vacuum leak test. After all these years, the knob finally wanted to break off. Still works though. It just broke off on me. So I'm gonna plug this up, guys. I'm gonna plug this up, pull a vacuum. Just you wanna open this, crack it open. We got oil. It's old oil, but it's oil in there. And we're gonna see if we're gonna hold pressure. I'm gonna slowly open these up when I pull for vacuum. Okay, I let it run for about maybe 15 minutes. We're holding vacuum perfect. So while I'm putting everything back together, we're gonna let I'm gonna pull vacuum for about another hour or so while I'm reassembling everything. So I'm gonna put everything back while it's pulling vacuum, and then we're gonna charge it. We should be all good. Okay guys, everything is back together. About to pop the wheel back on. Running board is back perfectly on. Wheel cover back on. Show you guys under here real quick. So I gotta snap that one in, but the rest of them snapped in. Everything's back up perfectly. So it took me about 30 minutes to do all this, if that. So I'm gonna let the vacuum pump work for about another 30 more minutes while I pop the wheels on, jack the car down, then we'll put some refrigerant inside. Okay guys, about to charge the system up, and we're holding vacuum. I let it sit for a couple hours almost. We're holding vacuum perfectly. A couple things I want to note. This is the Suburban. Show you guys how much AC refrigerant to take. If you remove the compressor, guys, or some significant component on the AC system, you will have to probably refill it with oil. With me not removing, just only changing the line, I don't have to refill the compressor with oil. So we're just gonna add Freon to the system. Let me show you guys how you can find out how much you need. So on every vehicle should be a sticker that shows you how much Freon the vehicle takes. This is not a pickup. We got front and rear AC. Takes about 3 pounds for the Suburban 1500. 2500 is the same, a little less than the utility vehicles. Even if you don't have these manifold gauges and you got the standard gauge, like one of these, it'll tell you when the system is filled. So you have to worry about overfilling the system and causing problems. So let's add some refrigerant to the system. I'm gonna turn the vehicle on first, turn the AC on full blast. Also, when you first add these cans, you want to purge it. There's a purge valve here. Just stick something in there and kind of give it a couple, press it a couple times to purge some of that air out the system that's in those cans, and you should be all good. But yeah, we're holding vacuum. Another thing, I'm only gonna open the low pressure side when I'm adding Freon. So don't touch the high pressure side. I got it closed off right now. So we're gonna slowly open the low pressure side. When we add refrigerant to this thing, we should be all good. If you want a more detailed video on this, I did a Ford Focus. Well, I did a couple cars using manifold gases, but on a Ford Focus, I think it's a 2015 Ford Focus, I show exactly how to use these manifold gauges, but they're pretty much straightforward, very easy to use, and handy to have. So let's add some refrigerant. Start the vehicle, turn the AC on, and once it reaches pressure in the system, the compressor should kick on, and we should get really, really cold now. Really, really cold. I just started the vehicle, and it's about 70 degrees in the garage, so it's pretty much the temperature it is in the garage. And we're adding Freon. Now we're gonna see how cold it gets. Compressor kicking on. Okay, guys, we're done. AC is ridiculous cold. Ridiculous cold. I'll show you guys how much it took. It's next level cold. It's like it's a new car cold. It's ridiculous. It's like it turns you to ice in seconds. So let's turn the vehicle off, guys. Man, this thing is bitter cold. We go to the back wheel. Let me get some lights on, guys. It's dark outside. It's midnight. I've been messing with this thing all day. Just wanted to get it right. Also, I added some aftermarket door speakers and just kind of cleaned the inside up a little bit. Made it look nice. So I had it in here for a minute. And I also did an oil change. But, yeah, we're perfect. No leaks, no nothing. So I'm gonna disconnect these lines. Let me turn the light on. Let me move this stuff out the way. But overall, it took. Hold on. I'll get quiet. No noise. Nothing, guys. We're holding pressure. Sometimes you'll get a positive leak when the system is filled with Freon, nothing. It takes 3 pounds, that's 48 ounces, 4 cans of the 12 ounce. One of them is 12.5 because it has ice. But I got maybe about 10 cans of this left, about 20 cans of that, 20 cans of some more. Back about 2013, 14. I went to an automotive store that was closing down, and I bought cases of Freon. So I still got it. Some of this stuff, if you can see a date on it, you guys don't believe me. Some of this stuff, I think it was like 2012. No date, that sucks. But I'll show you guys. I got about maybe 35, 40 cans left. But it's important when you kind of evacuate your system or the system has had a leak, you want to use this first to give it so it can be ice cold when you add the pure refrigerant. So it took this whole can, this empty, and half of that. So nearly 4 cans. But it's ice cold. I probably could have forced that can in. I didn't want to. It's ice cold. We're holding perfectly. I mean, bitter cold in there. Bitter cold. I wasn't expecting to be that cold. But yeah, we're done. Like I said, if you guys want to know a little bit more in detail, these are simple to use in detail. Whenever you connect that can to it, just purge it, just a tiny bit. Purge this a tiny bit until you see pure Freon coming out. Just want to purge the small air that's trapped in those cans out, and you'll be all good. You'll fill the system up with just all Freon. And yeah, this stuff is incredible. If you guys doing your system, you need a can or two, let me know. I may throw a couple cans out to some of my subs who doing the AC system. This is how it looks. It's another brand new can, old can I bought probably about maybe a date code. This may be 2010. This ain't no 19. This has got to be 2010 because the store was out of business for a minute. and they open up and they just have Freon. I grabbed all the Freon. So, yeah, you want to add this first, and then just go with regular Freon, and you're gonna get ridiculous ice cold AC. So we're looking for 80. It's gonna be 85 degrees tomorrow, and I'm right on time with this. Like I said, I just added some aftermarket speakers in the front. It sounds really good. Now I got a Bose system in here, but the Bose factory speakers weren't cutting it. Just want to add a little bit more upgrade. Put some kickers in the doors, just a little bit better upgrade speakers. So that's it, guys. I hope you guys found this video helpful. Subscribe to the channel for more awesome content. Hit that notification bell. You guys be notified when I upload new content. Terrence, I'm out. It's about 86 degrees today, guys, and it's perfect for that AC. Just in the nick of time. Beautiful out here today. Let's check our temperature. It's been running remote start. 49 degrees. Crunk it up about maybe 5 minutes ago.